So, Megan, you want me to hop in?
Sure do.
Okay. Now, before we get started, I just want to make sure everyone knows about the food. It's pretty obvious, but the pizza's getting cool, but it's really good. It came from Tony's. And we've gotten a lot of support from a couple of numismatic companies, and we're just really very happy to be making a little dent in the community. As Becky alluded to, we are writing a book called Money Mayhem and Might, How the Civil War Changed Our Money, and How Money Changed the War. And it's a sweeping topic, but more profound than most people realize. More profound than I realized when I got myself into it. So the more I look, the more I talk to numismatic clubs, the more I dig around, the more I find. And so the book got pushed back. I want you all to know that we were invited to be at the Harrisburg Coin Club just last week by invitation of the club. And it was really exciting because we were a sideshow. I mean, everyone obviously was there to sell coins, but they felt that if we began getting people into discussions that were not hardcore coin collectors, it would bring more folks in. They used television very effectively, and I can tell you they had 3 times as many people at that show this year than they did the previous year. Now, we're not personally responsible for that, but we were part of the promotion. And what we discovered, and what we're trying to accomplish, is that there are a lot of people that come to shows, and we'll call them a trailing spouse. Their husband is really into buying coins, and they're blowing $1,000 on a coin here and there, and the wife doesn't care that much about coins. So, and I'm not saying it's male and female that way necessarily, but my point is we had a lot of people come by the booth to talk to us about topics that they normally didn't think about. For example, we started a conversation about New Orleans and the Mint. With a young woman whose husband was buying coins, and she didn't really care that much about buying coins. So she started to get into a big conversation about a trip she had, and she wanted to go to the Mint because that's where the Jazz Museum is now. And it goes on and on and on. I can tell you a million little stories of people that took a real interest in some of these stories because it has a peripheral interest, a travel interest, or a family connection to Charleston or Columbia or other places where there are mints and activity.
Is there a mint in New Orleans?
Oh, there was a huge mint in New Orleans.
But not now.
Oh, no, it's been.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't.
No, it goes down in 1909, give or take a year.
Well, yeah, well, that was,
Yeah.
a little bit before.
Yeah. But you know, it's going to be a big part of our talk. And New Orleans is really, really important because Andrew Jackson didn't trust New York bankers. So in the 1830s, they built the mint. And that mint was every bit as big as the one in Philadelphia. And New Orleans, I read, was actually as significant a commercial port as New York was in the 1830s.
What was your mint mark?
Oh,
Oh,
just a big
regular
O.
O. Because I know you had like the double O for on the mortgage, which I didn't quite understand.
Oh, the double letter?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Carson City, Nevada.
Well, I know Carson City,
Oh,
but
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying that there's an O too.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm thinking that's Oregon
Well, it's New Orleans.
or it's New Orleans. One or two, I didn't know which.
Sure. But the Confederacy took over the mint just by brute force, and mint in Georgia and one in North Carolina as well. We'll get to it. And they actually confiscated is a good word, took hostage 3 out of the 5 mints that the United States had. And so it really decimated the production of coins for a lot of reasons. I mean, the South couldn't get it together to mint coins for a lot of reasons, but they had everything that they needed. And they actually held hostage the guys down in New Orleans for a year until the North took New Orleans back again. But the mint remained closed until 1879 or 8. So the production just fell to half because the mints were all shut down. Anyway, we'll be here all day if you let me talk. So,
Where was that located in New Orleans?
oh, down in the French Quarter, I was
It was
saying.
in the French,
Yeah.
near the French Quarter?
Yeah, the building's still standing. Like I said, it's in the historic
I
register.
love New Orleans. It's one
Oh.
of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah, see, I could get everyone talking about New Orleans at the show. Even if they didn't care about coins, I could get them to talk about New Orleans. So,
Nolans.
no,
Nolans.
I got Okay. Now, first of all, just to break the ice on this topic, there's a lot of topics we're covering. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be colorful. I'll tell you stories you've never heard before. Guaranteed. Even if I have to make them up. Dennis, these are must-haves.
I have one too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And take a stack of them. And then this is a good one too. Mr. Easter Day. Hi guys. You're more than welcome to stick around. We're really very friendly. There's food on the table over there if you need it.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. So I've been playing cards.
Deal me a good hand.
I
That's
was
right.
just gonna say, deal
There are a
with
couple
it.
there, but whatever.
Yeah.
What you got there? I mean, now I'm getting distracted now. I'll be distracted all day. Is that a silver dollar?
This right here is a silver dollar that has the George Washington eagle on the back of it. The 9 clouds of glory.
Really?
See the 9 clouds of, he actually designed it.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Is that worth a small mint?
He made a political button out of it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And if you ever look at the TV programs on presidents,
Yeah.
they have 3 flags behind the president.
Right.
And the one flag has little white balls going across it, 9 of them. 9 clouds of glory. That's what George Washington.
Wow. All righty. Oh, I must have bumped this poor thing. I did. There we go. I love this thing. I just got it. It's the most amazing piece of technology to simplify your life, you know. It's got a little pointer. Let me see if it works. You guys are working on that kind of screen. Look at that. Okay. Are you ready? All right. They said you're going to be here all day. All
We
right.
did it again.
Oh my God. That's all right.
That's a touchy little thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I just have to breathe on it, I guess. Okay. The How the Civil War Changed the Money and Money Changed the War is the byline of the book. Obviously, money may have a might. But it is astonishing, and if we tried to kind of highlight some of the things, we'll get to them at the end. There are 3 categories of big changes, and Dave alluded to a couple of them, and that is, there are a lot of things that happened prior to the war, i.e. 1857 when they outlawed all the foreign currency, basically. And then during the war, there were just enormous number of things that took place. But the tokens, for example, really had a meteoric rise, and then in 1864 they were outlawed. So you have about 10,000 different varieties, maybe 25 million different coins in circulation that were not minted by the U.S. Mint or the Confederates. And then, of course, how the money changed the war, the most profound way deals with counterfeiting. And believe it or not, we had so much content that I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole here was very much on the counterfeiting. Except we'll just say that the production of fake money, mostly by the North, flooding the South, there was a little bit going both ways. But, you know, was it Samuel Upton, I believe?
There was a guy that was selling souvenir Confederate
Right.
money. That's
Started
all
in
he-
Philadelphia
that's all-
paper.
He didn't want to counterfeit.
Right.
But people were asking him for Confederate money, so
Yeah.
he started printing.
Right. And it was legal because...
Well, he put his name and address in the back.
Oh, yeah. But since the United States of America did not recognize the Confederate States of America as a
Right,
sovereign
they didn't
entity.
use it up here.
Right, it was not
But it got down
considered
south,
counterfeiting.
and it ruined the economy.
Exactly. Yeah, we started the South. Anyway, we'll get into all that jazz. We'll be here all day.
You know,
Tell you
the
folks
British had, the King George
Hmm?
had people minting money for him. The thing is, if you minted the money and it was lightweight,
Yep.
you get your head cut off. But you had to put the requirements were you had to put your own face on the coin,
Right, right.
and you couldn't put Britannia with the shield
Ah,
with the
yeah,
British
yeah,
symbol in it.
yeah. Right, right.
But you could have a shield, but it was minted by several different people, and one of them was Paul Williams.
Okay.
And I found one of those right here in Williamsport.
No.
Yeah.
Out of here. Whew. Okay.
And the reason for them to turn around, I mean, was this like
It was because of a shortage of coinage in America.
Yeah,
So this Paul Williams guy was collecting copper and stamping it out and putting his own name on it.
Yep.
And you can see where he cut the edges because he made them too heavy so he could cut them back.
Huh. You find something new every day.
Yeah, and didn't the British just dump all the counterfeit money? Like there were a lot of Hibernia coins or coins out of Ireland that were fake and they just.
Oh yeah, I found tons of those in different dates.
Yeah,
Well, it burned me the Latin word for Ireland
Yep.
is Hibernia.
Right.
And the Latin word for Scotland is, it's up in Pennsylvania.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about? You know the big park up on Route 30 in Pennsylvania that goes down to Gettysburg? Caledonia.
Oh.
That is the Latin name for Scotland.
Scotland. Oh my goodness.
And then not too far away from Scotland is Scotland.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, anyway, I welcome you guys to dive in on this topic at any time. But you'll see so many different topics raised here. I'm going to start off with a little simple quote by someone you guys all know, Shelby Foote. And I remember watching Ken Burns' The Civil War, and there was one little thing when he said, and I quote, "The North fought the war with one hand tied behind its back," and he started to cry. Because he felt that there was a Southern, I guess, sympathizer by nature, by genealogy. He felt that they had lost the war before it began because the North just simply had such an advantage. And now I'm not going to get into all kinds of economy and all kinds of other things, but I am going to deal with money, and here's I'm going to make it real evident what kind of advantage the North started out with. We'll go through this stuff later. Okay. Ready for war and ready to rumble. The state of the treasuries, North versus South. Now,